This week, Penn finds out about the world of three wheels and we see Ian Pettinger's prototype. But first, North Wales isn't the first place you'd expect to find a sports car manufacturer, but there is one. We found it and we've been there.
Started laminating about 10, 11 years back in Birmingham, worked for a company that manufactured parts for Nissan. From there, enjoyed the job. The company closed down, so I started to set up myself in Birmingham, manufacturing body styling kits for various people all up and down the country. And I got into doing some motorsport work for Dave Whitehead Motorsport, which is pill beams, RF80s and so on, Van Diemen's. And basically in Birmingham, that you're on such a tight budget, it's very, very hard to make everything work. So moved to Wales, everything's a lot easier to do.
Okay, so you expanded accordingly, and then came the kit car up to what you're doing, which you still do the GRP side along with it for lots of clients, but now the kit car thing is growing. Yeah,
that's right. We started off, as I say, doing panels, boats, so on. But now we started getting into this sort of work, and it just snowballed really. We started off with one car, and we're doing about 7 now. They're various different companies. So our own one is the Auto Milan. We just took on an agency for the Avon Sprint, and it just seems to be gathering and gathering and gathering. The phone just doesn't stop ringing now.
Talking about the one behind you, what are you going to do with it? What are your plans for the car?
We've got quite big plans. I mean, the chassis has been improved, the safety aspect's been improved quite drastically. The body's been changed. I mean, we've now lost the side skirts, the rear skirts. We've now had a quadrifold on the back. The body line's being put back into the car. I mean, considering that's the first one ever built, it still looks good after 4 years on the road.
So where are you going to position it in the market? Is this going to be, you're going to see this as a pretty premium, expensive product? Is it an entry-level replica? Where's it going to be in the market?
Well, I'd say it's pretty much an entry-level replica. The car's what you make it. I mean, you can either have it on a budget, you can build the car for as little as £8,000, or you can have an expensive version of up to £20,000. So it depends on your pocket, really what you want with the car. If you want the power, do you want the leather luxury inside, the split rim alloys, it's really down to the customer.
So that's a product that you've taken on. You're now doing totally your own project, your own car. You've taken on as agents of the Sprint behind you. So how's that going to work?
Basically, Leon, who we did the bodies for, he reckons that he's going to be so inundated with this car, which it looks good. The car looks very, very good. It's the closest thing I've seen to Caterham, Westfield. He's just getting so many calls. He thinks that somewhere up here there's going to be a good niche in the market. Why not? I mean, we're a million miles away from where he's getting customers calling from up this area. It's going to be handy for both of us.
And it must be said that you are in the ideal driving company for a car like that. Is that going to be a factor? Do you anticipate getting a lot of people coming in thinking, well, I've got the best roads in the world for this car?
I think, well, I hope so. I hope it's going to go that way. We're getting a good response from people all over, and people are prepared to travel up here just to get in the car and have a go, have a ride around.
As a business then, you're now in the process of expanding, you're moving out of these premises into new premises, you're advancing on those 3 fronts, you've got more and more clients for the GRP work, you've got your own car that you're doing in-house, you're also acting as an agent. What's going to be the big thing? Is one of these going to take over and be your business, or are you going to advance on all 3 fronts?
Pretty much we'll be going with all 3, I would say. I mean, the GRP is expanding tenfold. Over the next 6 months we should be taking on 10 plus staff at least. But as with the kit cars, we want to keep growing, we want to become agents for other people as well, because there's not a kit car centre in North Wales. We want to be the North Wales Kit Car Centre, which is what we're setting up.
The kit car industry, the hand-built car industry, is in itself expanding rapidly. Rules and legislations are bringing the whole thing into line so that it's taken more seriously by the customer and by the manufacturer. On a nationwide scale, where do you see your company being 5, 10 years from now? Where do you see yourself being in nationwide terms?
I don't know, it's a difficult one to answer really. I'm not too sure, we just go with the flow, I suppose, and just make the best of it, enjoy it while it lasts.
Well, some things are just too much to resist, and the Avon Sprint is here, and well, it would be rude not to, wouldn't it really? So keep watching, because later in the programme we'll take it for a spin.
Longevity isn't a word you hear very often in the kit car world. Oh sure, there's a few famous makes, Westfield, Caterham, even Dax I suppose. But when it comes to three-wheelers, and particularly the Lomax car company, they are the leaders, the unsung heroes of that particular world. In 16 years, these people have made over 3,000 cars. Simple fact is, these quirky 3- and 4-wheel cars have got a real dedicated band of followers. And why not? Beauty of this industry.
Hello, my name is Bill Johnson, and this is a Lomax 223 car built from a basic car of the Citroën 2CV, which took me approximately 2 years to build, taking very short spells at it at a time. Total cost of something like £3,500.
I like to use the car hail, rain or sunshine. The idea of putting a screen on was so that I could put a hood on, and then if it does rain or we're out we can cover up and use it in the wet. So it's not a thing that I like to use on fine days, I'll use it when it's wet. That is a wing mirror which they produce for motorbikes. It's a copy of the Harley Davidson wing mirrors, and the original mirrors that I put on I didn't like, and I saw these so I decided to adapt them to the car.
Now I'm with David Lowe, Managing Director of the Lomax Motor Car Company. Dave, 16 years continuous production, mate.
That's right.
223s, 224s. You brought out 2 new models this year.
Yes, we brought out the, not quite this year, a touch earlier actually. The Lambda 3 was the first one to come out, and the Lambda Super Tourer, the 4-wheeler, was the second one to come out. Lomax 223s and 224s are still built quite regularly using exclusively Citroën running gear and Citroën engines. The Lambdas also use Citroën running gear and Citroën engines, but the main difference is that the Lambda is made and designed to go onto a new Lomax chassis and to use new, more modern coilover shock as a suspension.
35 brake horsepower does not sound like too much power to me, but what sort of performance could you expect?
Yes, surely it's not something that we promote as being an out-and-out performance machine. It isn't. But the top speed on a standard Lomax with an untuned engine is around about 85 to 90 miles an hour. And they'll certainly do the distance, as you, Penn, know, with our exploits in Africa last year.
Well, yes, we did, yes. Now then, what about fuel economy?
Fuel economy, yes, they'll do around about 55 to 60 miles to the gallon. Doesn't really matter how hard your foot is to the floor, so they'll keep up that sort of performance for most of the day.
Right. Well, I've not driven any new products, and I think it's about time I had a go.
You need the gear, my friend, you need the gear.
Like this?
Yes, just what you need.
Not a problem, mate. Wardrobe!
Yeah, looking good. He's evidently brought it all with him. This, folks, is part of the standard uniform for driving a Lomax. The scarf also comes in handy. Lots of people these days stick coat hangers in and make them stand out straight.
Do I look ridiculous?
Oh, you look absolutely ridiculous. You're getting nearly there. You need the hat to complete the exercise. Yep. And the goggles. You're just about there, my friend. You're kitted out.
Let's do it.
Well, I'm ready.
Me too.
Where we go?
This is amazing! You've never seen anything like it. We've just got hit by a snow shower. What a car! What great fun! You've got to get one of these. It's sensational.
Wow, what an experience. You wouldn't believe that it's a three-wheeler. It drives like a four-wheeler. It goes through snow as well, like you wouldn't get your breath. I'm truly impressed. It's a great car.
Cathy now takes a look at something a tad more practical than most kits.
As you can see, I'm in the market for the family car. Most people would consider kit cars to be sports cars. Well, I found the ideal family car, and that is the Matisse. Under this coupe is Ford Sierra running gear, but you lose none of the practicality. So in here you've got all the luggage space that you could possibly ever need, and inside you've got enough space for 4 adults. Okay, so practicality is one thing, but the best place to be in this car is the driver's seat. Due to the substantial chassis, the Matisse actually weighs about the same as the Donor Sierra. All that weight is kept low, however, so the handling benefits, even if straight line performance, will be similar. This is Jack, one of the partners in the Matisse project. Now Jack, how long have you been involved in this project?
Terry and I have been involved in this now for approximately 4.5 years.
And it's obviously going incredibly well.
It is building up, yes. It's quite a long and complex thing to start off, but once you get known in the market, then things start moving forward. Now this is a completely new project. We've taken a standard Matisse, and as you see, we've removed the roof.
So we're talking cabriolet here?
We're talking cabriolet, yes. Yeah. We've completely modified the front and the rear end, and well, basically we've a brand new car, a new model anyway. The substructures will be exactly the same, with a steel box section chassis.
This is Gordon, the owner of this Matisse. Now Gordon, you built this Matisse from scratch, didn't you?
Well, that's right, yeah.
How long did it take to build?
Approximately 18 months, but the body shell got burnt in the middle of the build, so I had to get a replacement, which took about 9 months.
Now, under this bonnet, you've got something pretty tasty. Tell us about that.
It's a 4-litre V8 with quad carbs and nitrous oxide injection if you need a little bit of extra power.
So it's quite fast?
It does move, yeah.
It does move a little bit anyway, yes. Can we have a look underneath?
Sure, yeah. That's it.
Pretty impressive, I'd say.
You like that?
I like it. So how much power is in this engine?
It's 215 brake horsepower, plus you've got the nitrous oxide, which you can dial in as much extra power as you need.
Cool, blimey. That's fast. So for about £5,000 to £6,000 you can have this family car sitting in your driveway, and remember, it doesn't rust. Stay tuned, because in a couple of weeks we'll be looking at another family car, and that is the Quantum Saloon.
Predictably, the view down the long bonnet when you're driving this thing is fantastic. And actually, for me, there's not too much of a problem with wind turbulence coming over the screen, but then I'm not particularly tall. For taller drivers, it would be a problem, but one that's easily rectified. Not so easily rectified is the fact that there is not a lot of space in here, and taller drivers are going to be cramped, which is a shame, because you're missing out on a lot. But then we shorties miss out on a lot too. So I don't care, it's your problem. One problem that will affect everybody though, and explains my reason for crawling along now, is grounding out. I reckon this thing is only about as far from the floor as an ant's delicates, and probably about as fragile, so I'm being very careful. It isn't my car. As a drive, with the little 1.4 beating out about 85 bhp up front, and the car itself weighing about as much as a half-empty packet of Rice Krispies, it's as much fun as you'd expect it to be. It does bounce around a little bit at the front. The feeling with the steering is perhaps a little bit vague, but then it isn't my car. You don't know the setup, it's somebody else's, and you could adjust this thing minutely to your own preference, I'm sure. There are times when an act of sheer madness pays dividends, as it did in this case, such as nicking off with somebody's demonstrator for an afternoon and giving it a good spanking round Welsh roads. I enjoyed that, and I don't think I can think of a better car to do it in, certainly not a better style. It's a simple concept, think about it. Take a nice 1.4 litre engine, fairly small, about 85 brake horsepower, put it in a rigid, decent chassis, and all you've got to do is cover the mechanical oily bits in some kind of bodywork and you've got a success. But it is more complicated than that. Any designer will tell you simplicity is a difficult thing to get right. In other words, you haven't got to get much wrong for the whole thing to be thrown out of kilter and not work. In this case, I think it does work. The chassis is rigid enough to handle that much power. And the bodywork, though minimal, is right. The lines are right, the shape is right. There's nothing angular or ugly or out of place. It looks great. And the best news is, in the case of the Sprint, the value for money. You'd be hard put to spend more than £4.5, £5 grand on one of these things. You could build a great one for £3.5 grand, and that, for my money, is good value.
Last week we saw the project through to the prototype stage with Sector 3, and they were then faced with the knotty problem of marketing the product. That's where Quantum stepped in. Mark, what happened?
When it initially started, they asked us to quote for the fiberglassing work, which we also do. And as we started to talk to them, it became apparent that really the bits that they were good at and wanted to do, which was mostly the stainless steel bit, was different to the bits that we wanted to do, which was the fiberglassing, the marketing, and so on. And as we started to talk, it suddenly became apparent that if we were to join forces, then we could use the strengths of both companies in the best possible way.
So the two companies fit together nicely on the one project, but of course the product then has to be slotted somewhere into your range because you're already up and running very much doing this.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, really you could say now we've got a sports saloon which is very, very sensible. We've now got the Extreme, which is probably not very sensible, and we've got a couple of 2+2s in the middle which are somewhere in the middle. So for us, it's a nice range.
You stepped in and said, we are the marketing experts, we're going to bring this thing to market. What are you going to do that's so special? How can you do this?
I think, I mean, the name that Quantum's got is very good to start with. Within the kit car industry, we're known as being at the top of the pile in terms of quality, in terms of turnover, in terms of many other things you'd like to mention. Putting our thought into it and really our stamp of approval, plus our expertise in terms of the fiberglassing bit and sorting out the little bits and bobs that needed sorting, we're going to end up with a fantastic product.
After all of the talking, this is about a real live car, and here it is, sneaking up on it from behind. I think the rear actually looks fantastic, which is a surprise because I didn't. I think it looks like a really good modern, almost European take on perhaps a rather familiar refrain. But they have lent us this. This isn't actually their demonstrator. Quantum's own demonstrator is still under construction. This is the prototype. They've said we can have a go, so we're going to. And as with any car of this style, getting in and out is never going to be too easy, but there are worse. Snug in here, but there's plenty of room even for the larger driver. The driving position itself definitely favours those who are long of leg and short of arm. The pedal travel is noticeably long as well, and the steering I would definitely say needs quickening. The rack is taken straight from the donor car. I'd say put a quicker one in. As a drive, it's immense fun. There's loads of power from the 2-litre Pinto, right from 0 revs through the rev range. It's a lovely torquey engine, particularly in such
finding in this car is probably down to the adjustable dampers. I'm not sure they're at optimum setting, but this is only a prototype. But above all else, it is, as a car, enormous fun, and it makes a fantastic noise.
Obviously, you must have faith in the product because you wouldn't risk putting your already established name to it if you didn't have that. What appeals to you about it? What do you think makes it a bit special that you're going to be able to market?
I think the main thing about it is the stainless steel monocoque chassis. That is a fantastic piece of engineering as far as I'm concerned. Being monocoque stainless steel, A, it won't rust, but more importantly, it's twice as rigid as any other 7 type vehicle. Couple that with purpose-made suspension, which has been designed by people used to setting up race cars for suspension. No kind of compromises in terms of trying to use some bits from the Sierra Dona car. It's all purpose-made, purpose-designed. It should give the best ride and handling of any similar type of car.
So, out here in the real world, how does it measure up as a proposition? Well, I suppose, as with everything in life, we better start with cost and price. The price of the kit on the road, £6.5 grand, might sound quite a lot for the kit alone, but do bear in mind that for that, all you need to add is your donor, nothing else, which means you're going to be able to put one of these on the road for well under 7 grand, which is a good point. Another good point that it's got in its favour, and that makes it pretty unusual in cars of this kind, is this. At the rear, we've got a lockable boot. Now, I know of no other car of this lightweight kind that offers that kind of practicality and really an extra bit of convenience in using the thing. Also, good points and unique points for it are the way that it's constructed. All the holes in the chassis are pinpointed precisely by laser. This means it will be right first time out of the box. That eradicates a whole load of potential for error. The same with the suspension. The geometry is supplied fixed. It's not adjustable. This means it will be right again first time out of the box. On the suspension, I did find that on this car, perhaps it feels a little unsettled on the road. That's because the only adjustable element are the damps and the shocks. This is a prototype, and I suspect they're not set up perfectly yet, but it's not even at the demonstrator stage, so it would be unfair to criticise the car for that. I'm told that the chassis is incredibly stiff and offers amazing torsional rigidity, so we can't criticise the car on that front. And at the end of the day, it's up to you to set up that last bit right. So as a proposition in the real world, it's going to cost under 7 grand. It's going to be right first time out of the box. And it really is a fresh new take on an old theme. And I think the first time anybody's achieved that, a genuine new modern look at an old theme. And the result makes a lot of sense.